K-pop Demon Hunters 보았습니다.
질문. 울었어 안 울었어?
울었지. 어이없게 울었어 나. 두 마디가 왜 저래? Me as always I think my 머리 갔어. We're gonna enter the 딥한 분석 of my brain. To me, I see so many metaphors, especially the main characters that has these marks that she has to cover.
오늘 그래서 일부러 이렇게 좀 까는 영상을
그냥 넣어서 그랬습니다.
여기다 그래픽을 좀 넣어주고 싶네.
죄송하지만 I am not a demon. Maybe my marks are in my heart. I don't know. What I mean is that the symbolic side of Rumi was very touching to me. It's like she has these marks that she has to hide even to her closest friends and people. The main message of the movie to me is that the world is actually not safe, fully safe, until she accepts fully herself. Covering up just to satisfy people, he won't protect anyone perfectly. You see what I mean? Up until she shows herself and at the same time showing that she's not defined by these marks. She uncovers herself to the people and finally the world becomes safe. There are so many meanings like that very much about the well-being of idols, how they are humans as well, and that we tend to forget. We tend to take them for granted as a product, an asset of the industry, and especially as well in Korea. I wrote a paper as well. That's why I'm very it was more about masculinity, my paper, and how men were used throughout Korea as a national asset through Park Chung-hee and the development state, you know. That's why the timing of this movie was kind of perfect for me because I was having a lot of thoughts about K-pop industry these days. How, in a way, it can seem very similar to the developmental state of Korea, where men, mostly men, were taken as assets to rebuild the country. These days, this is the K-pop industry that you really feel that this is modern and shiny and new. But if you dive in the deep pattern of the K-pop industry, this is actually quite similar to the developmental state. Like idols don't have any freedom. They are under very strict measures and sometimes you may feel that they are more considered as national assets to make Korea's soft power shine abroad rather than taken as creative individuals. You see what I mean? Because I wrote this paper, I had a lot of thoughts about K-pop industry. We can't generalize the industry like that. Like everyone is unhappy, every idol is unhappy, or we can't. And I know they came in the industry with their free will because they want to perform and maybe for their country as well. Just I think this is a nice movie to question ourselves as well about aren't we expecting too much from them? Shouldn't we see them as individuals before? I think if people make an effort to think a bit deeper about this movie, it's a very nice lesson for idols and famous people well-being. There are people that are not perfect and this is not 우리 거 아니야. I don't know if I talked enoughly well, but you see what I mean?
I give you a diploma.
Thank you.
Totally agree. Also, many people I think put themselves into these shoes as well. It's not only about idols. Also, we can find ourselves in all the characters. 루미 같이 감추고 싶은 비밀 같은 거
완전.
다 있잖아.
완전.
이걸 내가 다 드러냈을 때 내가
맞아.
온전히 받아들여지지 못할 것에 대한 염려를 하고 항상 뭔가 거짓에 쌓여서 내가 이 삶을 살고 있지 않나 항상 두려움에 있고 그런 것들. 그리고 뭐 그 진우 캐릭터도 마찬가지로 어떤 것에 대한 트라우마를 가지고 있고 그러니까 내가 잘못한 것에 대한 죄책감 동시에 그것을 덮기 위해서 더 나쁜 일을 하게 되고 뭔가 잊어버리기 위해서 그래서 그거에 대한 딜레마 같은 것들을 사람들이 경험을 한단 말이지. 그래서 많은 분들이 이런 캐릭터들의 자기를 또 투영해서 K-pop 아이돌뿐만이 아니라 그래서 정말로 좀 대중적으로 사랑을 받을 수 있는 애니메이션을 지금 화제가 되지 않나 이런 생각도 들더라고.
Everyone can 공감, 맞아. That's what the duality was very interesting. That there was a very big to me message about the K-pop industry as an idol, but at the same time through the same character, you could totally reflect yourself as an 일반적인 individual. Another character, and comment as well said it was a pity the character was not more developed, is a Rumi mother, 뭐 aunt 같은 분. I thought this character was so interesting because it shows something that is so important. We tend to think that what is bad is when something uses the weakness or the fears of someone for their own interest or against this person. But actually 진짜 좋게 안 봤어. The Rumi 엄마. You realize
아니라니까.
I don't know, the master, 챙겨주는 master. It really shows that bad can be as well when you try with a good heart, disguise, to hide a part of someone because you don't believe in these parts. Bad is not only about the red lights, like 무서운 거 아니고 this kind of a good person 같이 보이는 no, my intentions are good, I want to protect you, I want to protect you. In the end, both of them goes to the same 파국. Rumi almost demon 될 뻔했어 because of this, because she didn't feel accepted. So it says a lot as well that sometimes sometimes you think that people want to protect you, but really pave the way for you to go to your own hell.
나도 이거 멀리 가는 건지 모르겠는데 약간 그런 것도 느꼈다. 이제 만약에 자식이 부모님한테 커밍아웃을 하는 거야. 근데 너 치유할 수 있어. 너 그런 애 아니야. 너 지금 뭔가 잘못됐어. 이거 비밀로 해. 막 약간 이런 거 있잖아. 컨페스를 가장 가깝다고 생각하는 사람한테 했는데 너 그거 그냥 숨겨.
만약에 사람이 알게 되면
너는 사회에서 매장당할 거야. 너 행복할 수 없어.
Well, it's for sexuality as well, but it can be for pretty much everything. Yeah,
그러니까.
that society kind of tend to say to you that this is not normal, this is not okay. So these people that tells you 숨겨, they look like good people because they want to protect you. 근데 actually at the end of the movie you realize that only once everyone gets honest with themselves, everything ends up fine.
맞아.
That's why I love the depth of this movie.
진실한 목소리로 내 이야기를 했을 때 온전히 사람들한테 사랑을 받고 응원을 받을 수 있다.
그래서
그런
원래
메시지 좋았어.
your question was 내가 왜 울었냐고 그것 때문이야. It's like because I felt the deep layers of the movie, you know, like kind of a catharsis 같은 거, like you know, me too, like you know, I thought about myself, like you know.
지금도 울라라.
No, but it's very touching to see the struggles of accepting yourselves. Because we all have this. It's very common too. I'm so 나 어떡해?
지금도 울라 그래요.
어떡해? I can't talk.
그리고 내가 분위기 전환으로 내가 정말 좋았던 두 가지가 있는데 하나는 그 아줌마 팬들이랑
너무 귀엽다.
아줌마
진짜.
팬들이랑 그 호랑이 Symbol of Korea. 그래서 범접 있잖아. 범접이란 뜻도 있지만은 also 범접하지 못한다.
아 진짜?
그리고 범 means 호랑이.
와우,
그리고
대단하다.
이번에 그 범접 메가크루 보면 갓쓴 저승사자 그 컨셉이잖아. 그래서 사자 보이스 나왔잖아. 똑같이 갓쓰고 티피컬 커스텀 오브 저승사자야. 갓쓰고 검정색 이렇게 한복 같은 거 입고 이렇게 죽은 사람 딱 잡아가는 그거 있지. 그래서 사자 보이스. 근데 사자 also means lion.
재밌네.
막 약간 중적
근데
이미지가 있지.
너무 좋네. People who drag them to your death. That's what I wanted to mention as well. It was interesting as well the 분석 of people as K-pop consumers because you could see as well the difference. I'm gonna end up talking about Jennie in a second. Of course, I thought about her. You have this boy band. The main purpose is to swallow people's souls, swallow their souls, literally, to give it to the master or whatever. So I truly feel this is representing the vacuum side of the K-pop industry as well. They don't really care, actually. Sometimes. 나 무서워. K-pop fan 너무 무서워. I'm gonna be attacked. I don't target anyone. 일반적으로 in every industry, actually K-pop만 말고 in every industry, sometimes you pretend to make art for an audience because you care about an audience. I don't talk about the boys band and the girls band, more about the industry behind, the big industries behind.
잘 피하네.
근데 진짜야, for real.
그럼.
They use it as a vacuum to drag money, to drag people 관심, to drag people heart, and they get into your head and you become obsessed with them. I think this boys band was really representing the potential bad, terrible actually side of this kind of overconsumption industry that people become obsessed and you lose your soul. You literally lose your soul. This was like this, but the Hendrix, the girl band, was representing the opposite. The last song was very touching because it was about being...
Golden?
Yeah. It was about daring to share everything about yourself
맞아.
and letting go. And I swear, I really realized this is exactly why I am so into Jennie, but not as a singer. I love her new album, Ruby, that I think is a masterpiece. But I really realized that I am not the type I cannot enjoy that much a music if I don't admire so much the person behind it and try to understand why this person is making this music. In Jennie, the fact that I love her album is I felt her need to tell who she was and how brave you have to be, especially when you comes out from an industry as big and strict as K-pop. The yongam that she probably had to gather about her being honest about herself, about making this album and defying all potential rules or opinion, or that's really what I felt about Jennie, that she struggled so much to be honest and brave. I feel it every time I listen to any song of her album, actually.
Today this video is dedicated to Jennie.
근데
제니에게 바칩니다.
you know me, I've never been fan of anyone, honestly.
없네. 제니밖에 없네.
진짜 no me except food that I can be so into and music. But Jenny for the first time, I don't know, I can feel Jenny's soul is 너무 예쁘다. I can feel it through her songs, at least to me. And the last song, Gold, that's what it meant for me. I think the main thing was beyond this consumption of abs, pretty faces, which is everyone loves beauty, no problem. Abs and the 남자 너무 멋있어. I was mostly bothered by that because this is symbolically exactly what they are selling. Pretty faces, pretty songs, pretty appearances. Does that really matter in the end? People want honesty. But if you keep feeding them with pretty faces, they will keep having pretty faces because who doesn't like pretty faces, right? But once you have one person or one group daring enough to explode with honesty, that's actually what people need. I swear.
And it can really change the world.
Exactly. I saw that more as a criticism as well. This kind of fangirling over
You're my
abs.
soda pop. You're my...
They're coming after the...
It was fun. It was fun. I laughed. In the end, when you understand the whole movie, you have to go beyond that.
Voila, voila. K-pop 데몬 헌터스. 생각보다 정말 재밌습니다.
너무 재밌어. I think honestly, I'm gonna watch it again.
그냥 틀어놔도 즐거워 뭔가
So
이렇게.
I love the colors. A lot of purple, deep blue, like very like nighty vibes. I think it's really pretty. When I was looking for the reaction, I was 기대하고 있었어 about like interesting 분석. And it seems like a lot of people, it's okay, but kind of stopped at the pleasure to watch something about, which is nice about K-pop. But I really hope 깊게 봐줬으면 좋겠는 이런 마음. K-pop is really getting bigger and bigger, but I don't want the idols and the artists being forgotten in this process of consumption of a K-pop and everything, because we don't tend to think about them as, you know,
Are you crying again?
humans. 아니야, 안 울어. 근데 really, I got too into my paper. 나 지금 미친년이야. 진짜 I was really doing my research for my paper. 거의 울었어. 힘들었겠다. 진짜 even in the developmental state when Korea has to rebuild itself, I was like 진짜 힘들었겠다. 나 어떻게 살아?